football list tonight, guys. It's party time again, of course. We're from one side of Australia to the other side of Australia, guys, from South Australia right through to New South Wales, Victoria, will the Queensland man come as well? Raby Graham, Wynnum, of course, the Wynnum Wolves chairman of Welt. We're getting one right now. Here we go. Hup, check it out. Hey! The cup of life, this is the one. Now is the time, don't ever stop. We should've known, gotta be strong. We should've known, right from the top if Napoli win. In your soul, you don't take control. Not the days, here you're gonna get it. I see it in your eyes. You want the cup of life there, Tony? Did you win it, I think, the other day? Kenny, do you want it? Scotland's got to win it too, mate. And of course, Napoli as well. It's Football List live tonight. We are of course. Here we go, guys. Welcome right now to Football List. It's all happening. It's our way, the highway. Boy, it's going to be our way, the highway tonight, guys. All the way from South Australia. There's 2,000 South Australians here. Tony Goodwin and Angelo Carrozza. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight. And of course, great Scott. It's really Kenny Wilson. Don't worry about the hairstyle. It's him anyway, guys. Thank you, Kenny, for joining us. Oh boy. I just want to make one little thing. I just want to say one little thing. We have a massive problem in Victoria. Everyone here is involved. We're going to say that we're all involved in Victoria, but everyone from interstate has not heard this, that a lot of clubs have got a lot of problems here because of the, of course, land tax that some certain party has put on all the companies, and a lot of those companies are actually sponsors of football clubs, cricket clubs, all sorts of stuff. And what's going on is, because of the massive land tax grab, a lot of these companies have actually pulled out, and it's very sad. A lot of clubs are in trouble, and so we're going to try and work through it together with the clubs and see what we can do as in fundraising or whatever. We'll try and do what we can on Football List. Angela, that's what's happening in Victoria, mate. It's not very good. Not very good. I mean, how are you guys handling it over there in South Australia? You haven't got the massive land taxes. Is that right?
Oh, look, I beg to differ. I think there are taxes imposed on not just companies but families and employees and employers. So, yeah, clearly, we are headed for a recession. That seems to be pretty much the word that's being buzzed around at the moment. And yeah, I can understand your comments around the concerns, because I'm fully aware of some of the clubs that you mentioned over in Victoria that may well be impacted by such increased imposed taxes. So, look, at this point in time in South Australia, I'm sure there's going to be some businesses. I'm a business owner, so we're going to tread a little bit more carefully and cautiously as we invest our money into different marketing pockets. But I think the one thing we have got is a game that is loved all over the world. So we shouldn't forget that football is still a very big commodity and a big business. And yes, we're always fighting other codes and media, let's say, for our share of the pie. All we can do is be optimistic as much as we can, Harry.
Yeah, exactly. So what we want to talk about tonight is it's on everybody's lips, Kenny Wilson, and of course, Tony. It's on everyone's lips. I'm going to call this a different way. Don't call this the Australian Championship. It's a copy of others. We're going to call this the NSL Championship. The NSL Championship Australia. And Angelo loves that. I can see the way you're smiling there, mate. Let's go back to our heritage and what happened in those days, matey. Now, we want to know, and a lot of people out there are still going on. We have got no information. Nobody's talking about this. There's also a commissioner that a lot of people don't know about, who's actually commissioner trying to run this. Is his guy named Godfrey or something? Godfrey, have you met with him? Have you spoken to him? Is there anything happening? And of course, I've spoken to presidents throughout the country, and they still have got no idea what's going on, whether they're trying to say, we can't talk to you, or they're gagging me or whatever, but we still need to find out what's going on. Do you know anything what's going on at the moment, Angelo?
Well, I guess for those that are in the know, there is a third round of RFPs that have been put out by Football Australia. So any interested clubs that wish to nominate for the opportunity to play in the national second tier, they've all been given that same opportunity. We are once again putting our our club through the process, just to ensure that we are comfortable and confident that not only is the national second tier ready, but we as a club are ready. So, if you're talking about Nathan Godfrey, he is the person in charge of managing the national second tier, and I believe he's done a really good job in jumping on planes and travelling to each side of the nation to find or to engage in clubs that have shown interest. So I have met with him. I've met with him a few times, and from my perspective, he's been very professional and very committed to the cause and very confident that it's going to be a success once it gets going. And I think, it was decided last year that the national second tier, as they had hoped it to be, didn't quite come off, and so they've come with this kind of interim Champions League model, which commences at the end of the year. And it's got merit. It's being funded fully from Football Australia, so that's a positive. I mean, it's hard finding money from the top down. So given that they've pledged a large number of money to sort of say, we believe in this competition from a national level. We're going to give every foundation club, along with those that finish top in each of their respective leagues across the country, an opportunity, and we're going to test it. And I think that's where they're going to get all their data from, Harry, and see where what the appetite is and what not.
Before I bring Kenny on, what I want to talk about is they've actually split the teams into two lots, and these are the foundation clubs. You've got South Melbourne and Sydney Olympic, of course, in Group A. Group B, you've got Marconi Stallions and Wollongong City in Group B. Group C, Avondale FC. Well, they're not a foundation club. At Preston, of course, they are. Apia Leichhardt FC and Sydney United. But where are you guys? Are you going to be in there, or do you have to finish on top to get in there?
Yeah, so as it stands, we need to finish on top because the foundation clubs, and I want to correct you, Avondale is considered a foundation club. I know from your perspective a National League club, yes, but they are a foundation club to this model. And yeah, every state's been given the opportunity to partake in this Champions League format by finishing top. In our state, we have grand finals and whatnot. You could finish fourth and end up winning the league, but this is whoever finishes top on points. So that's I guess the carrot for those clubs that want to try and be a part of that first competition known as the Australian Championship. But yeah, that is the format. And sorry, to answer your question, I think South Australia lands with Apia.
Really?
In that group.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll bring Kenny on.
Yeah. South Australia, Western Australia, Apia, and Olympic. That's Group 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Angelo's answered the $1 million question. If they are funding it, then that makes sense because certainly the clubs can't fund it. So, but that's quite a hefty commitment. Just saying, if you're taking, especially for the South Australian boys and the Western Australian guys, you've got to travel with, 16 players, physio, manager, coach, assistant coach, and probably a couple of officials. So you're travelling with probably at least 22, yeah? 22 would travel. So obviously South Australia in this group will be travelling away, obviously one to Perth and two to Sydney. Hotels, accommodation. So it's a fair slice of money. I suppose the question everyone's asking is, you've got the 8 foundation clubs, and they're sort of pigeonholing that if you, and Angelo's just mentioned there that it's not the grand final winners, it'll be the minor league winners with the most amount of points. The issue would be with some of these teams, if they don't accept the invitation, how does it? And because we've got a small window of time, remember, because the NPL runs to, I think, 7th of September.
September.
Yeah.
And then this league starts on the 8th of October.
Yes.
So to be able to flights, accommodation, grounds, referees, it's quite an enormous task. So the question has to be asked, and I think there's a Tasmanian team in it as well, is what guarantees is there? I mean, I take it, Angelo, if you, regardless, in the pecking scale, if you win it, you'll accept the invitation.
Correct.
Yeah. And if you finish, who else in South Australia that in the NPL that you're playing against are I suppose your threat to this? As far as would any of the other teams accept?
I think there's probably 4 teams that would accept if they were to finish top. I think Campbelltown, Metro, and maybe even Comets are willing to accept. I mean, I don't know for certain. But ultimately, each of these clubs that finish top, don't have to accept. Should they not accept, it gets offered to the next one down. But I guess for the clubs that are positioning themselves as a potential suitor, you've got to start thinking about contracts. So some of the contracts are written to end at the end of the season. So what does that look like? You've got to look at your playing roster and consider whether you need to top up in the window that comes at the end of May, beginning of June. You've got to start thinking about what players you're going to have, and you're going to have to also consider the players themselves, because
but you're saying that the FA is fully funding this, yeah?
They're fully funding the commercial, the flights, the referees,
okay. So they're not funding the players' wages.
No, that's correct.
No. Well, that that puts a different complexion on it.
Yeah, but Kenny, I mean, as you could appreciate, each state and each competition's got varying degrees of wages. From $100 a week to thousands of dollars a week, depending on who you are. So that's virtually impossible. But if we're going to remain optimistic for our sport and work together to try and, we can't keep looking at ways to chop it at the legs. We've got to work together on how do we make this a success, because from all reports, we included, we want it to work. We want it there. It's going to give opportunities to youngsters that otherwise can't make it into the A-League. For me, it's a great opportunity. What we need to do is work together on how do we promote it, how do we make it possible and make it profitable. Football Australia at this point in time have said, all right, we're gonna give you all the bones, and for those of you that want to fight to finish top, if you're not a foundation club, you have an opportunity to taste it. We'll grab all the data. There'll be sponsorship opportunities. There'll be the ability to I guess create activations at your home ground when it's your turn to host. I see it positive, but I'm always a glass half full sort of person. So.
So can I just say a minute, because we've had this conversation before, and I'm totally with you that wishing it would work. But what they should have done is when you originally applied and they knocked you back on lighting and seating, that should never have happened before. This should have happened 8 or 9 months ago, and you should have been accepted.
No, I'm going to correct you. We have gone to the federation with 2 or 3 different options, which all tick those boxes. I'll be very clear that we as a club did not meet the financial criteria. So we held off that component. We passed in every other component, Kenny. So that the fact that our club decided just to sit tight, we didn't feel we were ready as a club. And because we weren't ready, we held off. And every other club who has put their hand up and have been accepted have met that obligation. We chose not to meet that obligation at that time. So that sorry if I'm correcting you, but
didn't we say before that, wasn't it brought up before that you had issues with the lighting and the
yeah, so the criteria, we couldn't meet that criteria. Because our ground part, we could still go and hire a venue that does meet that criteria.
Okay, yeah. But what the point I'm making was that obviously that then created another financial issue You know, the end created the issue that you haven't gone in. So it meets the same. It comes back to the same point. But the point I'm making is that I think the bar was set far too high 12 months ago, 14 months ago, 2 years ago. We're having a conversation now where you will, and hopefully you'll finish top. You'll get an invitation to be in this league, where in real terms you should have been in it anyway. You know, they should have realistically looked, in my opinion, back then and said, well, look, these guys, you know, Adelaide City or any of the clubs, the other clubs, you know, were a great option to be coming in. And let's get it in and let's get it working, and then let's get rid of the kinks and the, you know, when it's up and running. Yeah. Instead of, I mean, I've got to say, the I suppose the media release of having the eight foundation clubs, and then saying we've got eight invited guests and we've done a draw was quite ridiculous, really. You know, it was a bit embarrassing. You know, and because the point you made, you know, it could be a sliding scale of invitations, and there could be some teams. You could go through a state that none of the teams will want to play in it. And it's the small window I'm concerned about. Of you know, you guys. I mean, I know that we're talking about grand final finishing, say 7th or 8th September. So technically, you know, you'll know 24th, 25th of August who's the champions. But it's still a very small window to pull it all together. And look, I mean, you've clarified. You've brought something to the table tonight that they haven't said. They haven't said they were funding it, and I know they're not funding everything. Now you've pointed out the wages, but at least the hotels, the transport, etc. And like you said, some of the clubs, you know, have got small wage budgets, so you can go. You know, you can go another 9 weeks if you progress. Yeah, so you've got a minimum 6 games, potential 8 or 9. Yeah. So, you know, that there's a bit of clarity there, at least what you've brought to the table tonight, which is good.
Let me bring.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services, including air, sea, and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time. Do you have what it takes to become a soccer superstar? Look no further than Soccer Pro Academy. Led by experienced coaches, including a former Socceroo, the Academy provides world-class training to help you reach your full potential. From technical skills to tactical awareness, they'll help you develop the skills and mindset needed to succeed at the highest level. Soccer Pro Academy, where champions are made.
Are you looking for the perfect kit for your football club? Try Arrow Sport today. From jerseys to shorts to socks, Arrow Sport will have you completely covered. We can even cover your merchandising line, including hats, beanies, scarves, jumpers, and so much more. So if you're looking for excellent lead times, great pricing, and even better quality, try Arrow Sport today by looking at our website at arrowsport.com.au. And even better quality, try Arrow Sport today by looking at our website at arrowsport.com.au.
Looking for a haven to unwind and indulge? Look no further than Brista Cafe, nestled in the heart of Derrimut Village Shopping Centre. From decadent homemade gourmet cookies to scrumptious muffins, every bite is a delight. Everyone loves Brista Cafe, and you will too. So why wait? Visit Brista Cafe today and taste the difference for yourself.
Hi guys, Harry Sunday here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called There Is Only One Football.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff, from caps, t-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Let me bring Tony on tonight. Now, Tony, you've been to some of the games at, of course, SA NPL. What are some of the crowds that have been going this year? You've been to a few games. Have you seen any crowds going there at all?
Yeah, it's yesterday, for instance, I went to see Adelaide City and the Adelaide youth team.
Say something good about it, because you've got the president there, mate. There you go.
No. It was excellent being there. They did a really good show. I think it was great bringing it to a regional area. When I rocked up, I thought I was going to get an easy park. Well, that turned to crap because it was a lot of cars there, an awful lot of cars, a hell of a lot of kids, and I thought I got a real good buzz from it, just going there and seeing it, and the players and. I just listened to Kenny talk earlier, and they did answer one of my questions, or I was going to ask about what happens if you don't finish top, but obviously it's a grades down. But I've always been a big supporter of the idea of the second division, mainly because I don't think enough kids in Australia get a chance to be looked at. And it usually comes sometimes by word of mouth or just a luck. Similar to what happened to Craig many years ago, and the story's different. But it will give a lot of kids a decent stage to basically sing on. And no matter of what sort of games they're playing or who they're playing against, obviously having your foundation clubs will get more people there because there's history. Every club's got a big story that goes way back. And that's a great promotion for that actually competition. But I just want to see heaps of kids getting opportunities to go to that next level, because there's so many kids that have just fallen off the perch along the way for whatever reasons. So the idea of the competition, I think, is awesome for that alone for me. Yeah. So I'd love to see it work. But I watch a hell of a lot of games, depending on where they are and what times and whatever I'm doing. But every week I'm at a game on a Friday night, a Saturday. Sometimes it's amateurs on the Sunday, or the Saturday amateurs. Yeah. But, even yesterday, you see some kids out there and you think they're like this close to getting their opportunities. And it's just a matter of who. One thing that was said to us years ago when Craig was at Oakley, they said you never know who's watching, and they said between 10 and 12 scouts are at every game. There you go. Over here it's different. It's not, but over there there is. So I just tell kids now, whenever you're playing, you're auditioning. Just think of it like that, because you don't know who's in that crowd.
That's where the investment goes skewy over here. Yeah. All the A-League teams should have full-time scouts travelling nationally.
Not doing it.
They should. There's no excuse for a talented kid not to get picked up if the infrastructure's in place. We go back, and Angelo would go back. Adelaide City, West Adelaide. Back in the old days. The players, you find them. They get there. I don't think that the current A-League clubs have got that sort of structure anymore. They're relying on cherry picking probably the best of the NPL players, and that sort of seems to be sort of common practice now. And because we're not that big on imports, and we've sort of got to that stage where some of the A-League teams are really, glorified youth teams. Newcastle, Brisbane. There's quite a few now. Central Coast Mariners. When you look at the players, they're pretty well development squads, development teams, which is a little bit of a shame for our elite competition. That should be happening probably in NPL or back in our day. We used to have the NSL Youth League. The Youth League was a travesty. We lost that because that's where, the Niskus boys, Vidmars, all these boys were coming through there. They came through that structure. It's sort of we've sort of lost our way with that. With there's too many academies that are so-called academies, but that's a chat for another day.
Yes,
there's some good ones, but there's some real awful ones.
Adelaide have got a good model, though. They've got a pretty good model at the moment with Marcelo Carrozza, and now that Isaias and Javi Lopez is retired, they will go into those coaching roles as well. So you've got three super international players. Dare say Craig, that'll be his job after he's finished his football too. He wants to go into coaching. So, it's if you've got the right structure at the bottom, it just keeps bringing the production through. And the NPL alone, like I said, watching all the games, there's some kids that probably could easily be in there, but for whatever reasons, they're not at the moment. But if they could fix that and have them coming through maybe the next level down and then hopefully jump up, they've got sustainability, really.
I think you guys, South Australia, unfortunately, West Adelaide, obviously Adelaide United, tailed off at the end of the season. But the amount of players you brought through, I think you were miles ahead of all the other states. The Adelaide boys, Adelaide United did a fantastic job of bringing local kids through that development process. It was a standard. When you look at how many of them are in, the under-19s, or the Australian under-19s, the amount of Adelaide boys it was embarrassing how many there was compared to everyone else.
Five from Adelaide.
Five. It was huge. That's an amazing result for a state compared to Melbourne and Sydney. So it tells you obviously that you guys are doing something right over there. It's just a shame that obviously the Adelaide United tapered off, in that last third of the season, because they were a good side, and it's a shame he's lost his job, because I thought he did a terrific job, to be honest. I thought that was, Adelaide's keeping in mind, you're punching above your weight. You don't have any home games. You don't have any other Adelaide teams you've got to play, so you don't really have any derbies per se. You've got to go away and play Sydney, Melbourne. So it's punching above your weight. I thought Adelaide or South Australia has done an amazing job certainly from a player development perspective. I think if that was you put that up as a model, certainly a lot of states should copy it.
Well, Carl was an Adelaide City boy too, so.
I just want to come in before Angelo leaves us. Angelo, when you said that you guys didn't have enough lighting to be able to play during the daytime, and Tony spoke to me earlier that in that country area, you said, Tony, they played a fair distance and a lot of people turn up. Will there be an opportunity for you guys to play in regional areas, the games, if you get over the line and play in this model at the moment, the championship model, to be able to play in rural areas, to play those games in rural areas to bring people together more. You might get more people out there. Like you guys, where did you play? Where did they play yesterday, Tony? Was it in the Barossa Valley or something?
Yeah, Barossa United's ground near Nuripta.
Will that be an opportunity to you guys to get more people at the games as well?
Yes and no. I guess to Kenny's point earlier, if you can play at your own home ground, you get so many advantages. Obviously, people get to recognise your place. You get to market your sponsors better. You get the gate takings. You get the food. You can do corporate events, activations, and so on. The moment and for the record, when I got contacted by Football South Australia, asking if I'd be keen to play at the Barossa United Stadium. It was an unveiling of a new $6 million facility. My first question was, is it our home game or is it Adelaide United's? And he said, it's yours. And I said, I'm afraid.
Really?
I said, I'm afraid I can't accept.
Gee.
However, Adelaide United don't have a home ground. So if Adelaide United wish to reverse their fixture, I would happily support Football South Australia. I'd happily support football in this state, because that's my ambition, is to ensure that we keep punching those little 1%ers to improve the sport in our state. So when they came back and said Adelaide United accept, so I still hold my home ground game, but it will happen in the reverse fixture later on in the season. Immediately our team went to work. We chartered 2 buses, one for players, and we brought up a host of people. We hosted a pizza at one of Carrozza United's sponsors at Ember Pizzeria. And for me, we did what we were meant to do in the community, and that is to promote the sport and promote our club. To answer your question, would I do it at the cost of the financial impact on my club at my home ground? Well, probably not.
Yes.
In the short term. And as you know, when AFL teams, rugby teams, mate, look at Milan, who have been told to come in to play Perth in Perth. Look at I think one of the NFL teams are coming to play in Melbourne. They're not doing that for free. So there is a fee that comes with it. So realistically, it's a push for us to go out. It really needs to be a pull. So if someone in Barossa, as an example, said, "Hey, we want to bring you as our main event, and we will pay you X," well, you can understand why people would consider that.
Yes.
We did it, just for the record. We didn't do it for any financial gain at all. We did it to support football in this state, and we were fortunate enough to have, I think, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was over 2,000 people.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the morning and afternoon.
Unbelievable.
So,
yeah. A lot of kids.
Great for the community of the Barossa Valley, great for Football South Australia who helped drive it, and great for the two clubs that went up there and showcased their game.
Now, what I want to do is...
I should have done my homework, but just give me a... where are you sitting in the competition at the moment?
Sorry, is this
you mean? Angelo, you mean?
Angelo, yeah.
I thought both of you were there.
Yeah, there's two the same names. Two guys.
I thought you would have the stats.
Oh, my God.
Straight away.
Okay.
Because Angelo's clearly got enough of these players. Yeah.
That's
Angelo,
right.
We're
equal third at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, and confident that you'll get there?
Oh, look, like everything, depth is the problem, and we've had 5 starters either injured, suspended, and that impacts. So yeah, I mean, we've got some powerful players. Bruce Kamau, who's
I know who he is.
Who's got a 4 centimetre tear, which impacts your ability to get him nurtured. But if we can get him right towards the back end of the season, I mean, Laurie Latanzio, playing exceptionally well this season. We've got a star in the making, an 18-year-old central defender who I liken to Alex Tobin and Milan Ivanovic at the moment. I don't know if you watched him yesterday, Tony, but young Keylor, mate, watch out for that kid, Lewis Keylor. Look, we're travelling well. Are we where we wanted to be? Probably just maybe 3 points off, but we'll keep working at it, keep going.
You just mentioned my favourite Adelaide City player of all time, Milan Ivanovic.
Oh, gee. Let me. Angela's going to now.
And doesn't get the credit. Doesn't get the credos and the credits that he should have done.
It's huge.
An absolute superstar he was.
Gentlemen, I need to speak about this one. And Angelo, you probably know what's going on in Oceania, of course, 13 clubs now in contention to be part of the inaugural OFC Professional League. From the 24 clubs who expressed interest in the part of the OFC Professional League due to start in 2026, OFC can confirm that 13 will continue the licensing phase. Now, I think I was the one that actually broke that story to you a year ago or something, saying that the Oceania Professional League is now actually bankrolled by FIFA. They want to improve the area. They want to improve that area of Oceania where they want to bring the standard up. Now, and to say here, and for me to mention this, it's starting 2026. It'll have to be after the World Cup, of course. So they're saying here that there's 2 Australian clubs that have put in, 2 clubs. I think I know that you might know already. You might know, but you might not want to say that. So how is this? No, Angelo, don't. You know what's going on. I know what's going on. Oh, no, okay. But let me say, this is an opportunity. And by the way, this is like a 5-month competition. It's a full-on competition, 17 rounds. So you're talking about here money that FIFA are putting in. And to me, I understand that you guys, 2026, they want to start a full home and away series for the second division or the Australian Championship. But this has come in between everything and changed a lot of things. A lot of clubs are putting in for this. And I know what's going on. You don't have to tell me anything. But let me say, the opportunity here is to play in a professional competition with money. Do we have the money in the championship? That's the other story. So what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, again, if we want to look at the glass half full, it's another initiative to drive football. So that's the positive. Yeah, certainly something that we haven't unlocked or discovered. We were quite comfortable chasing our ambition to play on the national stage here in Australia, going abroad. For all the points that Kenny brought up, with seasonality and relevance and, player payments and whatnot. I don't know enough about it, to be completely honest with you. I might know a little bit about, clubs having, I think there was 4 clubs originally that put their hand up.
Yeah. But let me say, go on.
I feel there is a place for it, and I think there is a club in particular that may not have too many other choices, that may even be favourites for that spot. But again, it comes down to football promotion, and if it's promoting the game and it's going to give, I just don't think we're going to see a lot of it. I don't think it's going to impact us at all. I don't think there's going to be too many people's eyes on that particular league. I think it's too far. It'll probably be unavailable or very difficult. You probably have to subscribe to maybe our 11th subscription to watch.
Well, I know who's doing it. And FIFA have got their own streaming service.
We've discussed this already.
We know we have, but this
FIFA have to allocate certain amount of funds from the FIFA budget to third world countries to try and develop the sport.
This is what's going on.
But also there's an ulterior motive, because they need votes from there. When it comes around, you get voted on. They need Fiji. They need Solomon Islands.
Yes.
They need all these votes. So they've got to allocate a certain amount of money. Now it's going to be predominantly Oceania for third world countries. Now, if they stick a New Zealand team in there and a decent Sydney team, can you imagine what the scorelines are going to be?
Let me tell you which countries.
A team from the Solomon.
Well,
do you remember Australia?
Yeah, I remember those games very well. 30-0, yes.
But let me be clear. It's not going to be a premier competition. It's going to be a development to develop these areas to try and give young kids from third world backgrounds an opportunity to progress. That's what it is. Nothing else. It's not an elite Oceania premium competition. And the reality is that if a New Zealand team or an Australian team, a good one, a top team, there'll be telephone number scores.
This is where Kenny, there'll be combined teams, a combined team from the islands. They'll be combined. We're talking here countries like, well, here we go, the first one, New Zealand, Fiji, New Zealand 2 teams, Fiji 2, from Papua New Guinea 1, each from the Solomon Islands, Tahiti, Vanuatu, and other 2 clubs from Australia. I think it's a bit more like, I knew there's a few more than that, and a 5-month league. Well, that's a full on NPL, isn't that the same as the NPL? You're playing 17 games plus your extras as well. Finals.
There's only 8 teams. There's only 8 teams in the comp, Harry. It's stripped from 13 down to 8. 8 gives you 7. Even if they play 3 times, it's only 21 games, right? If they play twice, it's only 14 games, right? So, but I don't think as what Angelo said earlier on. It's certainly not going to encroach.
There is
anything over here.
I know one team, and Angelo probably knows that team, and of course they're not doing too well in Victoria at the moment. But I'm not going to say who they are. But apparently, they're fighting with Football Australia to play in this comp. Let's see what comes from this. And that's what's going on at the moment. So that's another competition here. All of a sudden, you see the championship come. Then this comes. So how many competitions are we going to be seeing in Australia in the next few months? We don't even know. And to me, Angelo, how do you feel about NPL, the NPL around the country at the moment? What I don't like is that you guys, I can imagine your bill on how much you're paying players, and that's a massive issue around the country. And what I see, I've been saying this for a while right now to everyone out there. What are you doing? You want to be on top of the ladder. You want to win. You want to play in the grand final. You've outlaid $500,000 to $600,000 on wages. What are you getting back? What are you getting back? $20,000 for the cup? Is that right? What's going on here? I mean, don't the associations or NPL or Football Victoria, Football Australia, they're going to get stuck into me for this, I know that. But the thing is, there has to be some kind of incentive to play in these competitions, some kind of dynamics to say, we're going to win this much money, we're going to get the cup, and we're going to be happy. And the players are going to get a bonus too. There's nothing happening here, mate, the NPL. Absolutely nothing. Angelo.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time. Do you have what it takes to become a soccer superstar? Look no further than Soccer Pro Academy. Led by experienced coaches, including a former Socceroo, the Academy provides world-class training to help you reach your full potential. From technical skills to tactical awareness, they'll help you develop the skills and mindset needed to succeed at the highest level. Soccer Pro Academy, where champions are made.
Are you looking for the perfect kit for your football club? Try Arrow Sport today. From jerseys to shorts to socks, Arrow Sport will have you completely covered. We can even cover your merchandising line, including hats, beanies, scarves, jumpers, and so much more. So if you're looking for excellent lead times, great pricing, and even better quality, try Arrow Sport today by looking at our website at arrowsport.com.au. And even better quality, try Arrow Sport today by looking at our website at arrowsport.com.au.
Looking for a haven to unwind and indulge? Look no further than Brista Cafe, nestled in the heart of Derrimut Village Shopping Centre. From decadent homemade gourmet cookies to scrumptious muffins, every bite is a delight. Everyone loves Brista Cafe, and you will too. So why wait? Visit Brista Cafe today and taste the difference for yourself.
Hi guys, Harry Sunday here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called ThereIsOnlyOneFootball.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff, from caps, t-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
It's unfortunate that our sport is a little bit different to the other codes. I said it before. Money flows down from AFL. That's why kids can play, or parents can pay $100 and their kids can play AFL. Our biggest challenge is self-funding, and we're all competing. Remember, we're in the sport of entertainment. We're entertaining. People are going to go, what are we going to do this weekend? Are we going to watch Adelaide City play their match, or are we going to go for dinner somewhere, or are we going to watch a movie? The money's the money. We're all asking for that bit of money. The difference is that we unfortunately have to always rely on our junior programs. We need to ask their parents to help us find money. They're always looking at what are you giving back to the juniors? Is money going to the seniors to fund seniors? it's a real fine balancing act, and it's one that we continually review and analyse. You know, we've kept our fees at bay because we lifted our fees about, to be honest, around 2018.
Gee.
We made some changes. The reason we made those changes, and this is the other component, death of the volunteer.
Yes.
We don't have volunteers. And, you know, you go back maybe a generation ago, this was their home away from home. They had the ability to talk to one another, they networked, they cooked together, they ate together. That's gone. We now need to find another level of money to fund it. Then
Pay them.
Then, okay, we're now being kind of persuaded, if, for lack of a better word, to start putting artificial pitches in. Why? Because it gives you constant ability to play games, less postponing, but it gives you the ability to find new revenue streams by going out to schools and academies and whatever for some additional revenue streams. But then guess what? You need to find some sinking funds because you've got to maintain those things. And in 10 years, you've got to replace those things.
Mm-hmm.
Mate, they're pushing $1.6, $1.7 million. So
Jeez.
who's paying for it?
But this is the same thing as Sydney Olympic and all the clubs in Sydney, Kenny. You know the astronomical costs. How much money they're paying?
Can I just say, Harry, it's great when you bring Angelo on because he's I mean, and I'm not pissing in your pocket, mate. You come on with a lot of clarity, and you actually, the points you're making are really, like, for example, sinking funds for AstroTurf and all these things are so poignant. You know, that you're on the money, and
real life stuff,
and your honesty is great because we don't get that a lot.
Actually,
I've got to be honest.
Can I just say? Go on, Kenny. Go on.
Yeah, thank you. No. I'm just pointing out. It's nice to actually get some clarity from someone like Angelo, who's obviously at his club, and he's the head of the club, and he's not frightened to actually be honest and come forward and say, this is the facts, this is how it is, this is the truth, and you know we've got to deal with it, you know, and if we had more clubs and more people like that, you know, we'd move a lot quicker, and we'd solve a lot more problems quicker as well.
Well, to Harry's question earlier, you know, why are we spending all this money to bring home $10,000, $20,000?
That's right.
There's one word. It's called ego. and unfortunately, you know, at times clubs get too egotistical around the trophy rather than focusing on the real matter, and that's development. It's facilities, it's infrastructure, it's coaches, you know, it's community. These are the things that we're working really hard on because our facilities have been. We've got a myriad of challenges. We hold 3 facilities. We've got a facility here that I'm in at the juniors at Park 19 in the city, across the road Park 18, and then of course we've got Oakland. And Oakland is a facility that was purpose built for the Adelaide Rams some 30 odd years ago. Mm-hmm. And you know we now hold 6 teams up there, 3 men and 3 women. Well, I can tell you the poor women, you know, the facilities aren't made. No. For them in mind. So we're forever lobbying and working our tail off to try and find ways and means to improve women's sport, to improve our junior opportunities to transition into seniors. And the reality is it's funding. And if FIFA had the AFL model, and let's be honest, it comes down to the media dollar. How much media dollar is coming to our sport? Very little. Look at AFL. My God, they are flushed. And not only are they flushed, they sometimes use those funds to block our sport.
Oh, we know
that. The moment we get a bit of the moment 100%. The moment there's a World Cup coming, the moment they can get the fire extinguisher, they start extinguishing.
Spent 30 years at the advertising, mate. I know exactly how it works.
The Herald Sun is full on, you know what I'm saying? That's a thing, but...
Same corporation. 14th floor of the Herald Sun belongs to the AFL.
Unbelievable.
Unfortunately, that's another battle. And that's why we've got to remain united. We've got to be committed to the same goals, and that is to promote our game as best we can, as often as we can.
One more. I know you're going to leave us in a minute, but I'm going to ask you one more question. Are you looking for a job as a CEO at all?
Mate, I can't fit another job in. My wife's already,
Kenny, Football Australia looking for one, aren't they? Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about that. So there, Angelo, we'll let you go. It's we promised you half an hour. Thank you. You stayed a little bit longer. Thank you for joining us, guys. That was the chairman of Adelaide City. We're looking forward to them getting into the finals and playing in, of course, in the Australian Championship, and that's what's going to happen. We've got the two boys here now. What a great some of the stuff. Every time we get him on, Kenny, you really hear from the heart with him, from the heart completely, and how passionate he's about his club. Unbelievable.
Well, he doesn't, mate. He doesn't. You know, I mean, he clarified straight away about funding,
yeah,
right?
The funding.
Yeah. So I mean, no one else has done it. I mean,
they won't.
Football Australia's not done that.
No.
You know, and the reality is, when you get clarity, then you say, okay, then. Maybe there's a way forward with that, you know. Well, I know that the player wages is going to be a bit of an issue for the bigger clubs.
Oh,
but you know, I think, you know, from that perspective, you know, when you see clarity in issues like travel, accommodation, and you say, okay, well, Football Australia is going to fund that, then at least it's a good thing. I mean, it's a positive thing. If Football Australia is going to throw some money at it, yeah,
that's good. That's fantastic.
Especially when they're already $8 million in debt on the balance sheet. So you know that won't help, and we don't have a sponsor for the national team, which is not a bad thing. You know, losing Subway wasn't. You know, I certainly wouldn't put that.
Well,
I think from a perspective of, you know, you can go 2 steps back to go 3 steps forward, and I think that's what we need to do. You know, we're used to having Qantas and Commonwealth Bank, and we end up with Subway as we're elite team, national team has got and I don't mean it disrespectfully, you know, a 2-bob Subway sponsorship, $3.2 million a year or something. You know, it's petty cash.
I know what you're saying.
You know, it really is. But
20 mil, wasn't it?
Sorry?
It was Qantas 20 mil or something like that.
Yeah. And I think Commonwealth Bank was somewhere like that. You know,
exactly.
You know, so I think we need and we should be able to secure, and the government should help us with this to secure, you know, Qantas or Commonwealth Bank. You know, Qantas is the national airline, should be supporting. You know, they do support sport, and they've got plenty of money to spend, and the Commonwealth Bank's got plenty of money to spend. So there should be a bit of leverage there for them to, you know, certainly probably come back to the fold, I would think. And you know, and we get back on track with that, because we certainly diluted the brand. And I don't mean to be detrimental towards Subway, because they've come forward at least threw the money in there when we had no one, because obviously there was no one else. That's why we took them. But you know, comes a point where, you know, we need elite sponsorship for our elite teams, and you know, we're having this problem in the A-League. None of the clubs have really got an elite sponsor, have they?
They don't anymore. No. As I said, Kenny, before about that, what's going on in Victoria with these land taxes and rubbish, where the companies actually want to get out of here and relocate somewhere else, that's causing a lot of trouble in Victoria with a lot of sporting clubs. It's massive. It's a massive problem.
But Harry, you know, land tax is tax deductible. So if you're a company, you should be able to claim it back, right? But you've got to be making a profit to claim it back.
Yeah, how can they make a profit with all this rubbish?
Yeah.
Let me just say, I know, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, there's a lot of clubs are struggling, and they're talking to me. I don't want to say who they are, but I know who they are, and they're talking to me. Now, what I want to ask is last week's final series, other final series between, of course, Melbourne City 3, Western United 0. And also, let me tell you guys, that game last week was actually at Amy Park, which was their home ground's far away, right? But they wouldn't play that game there, so they brought it over to Amy Park, and that was, of course, Western United's home game at Amy Park. So what happens this week? They're playing there again. All they're changing is their strips. That's all it is. The away strips. How does that work? It's just funny. But I don't see Western United getting through, Kenny. I don't see them getting through now.
I watched. I mean, Tony probably did the same. Probably. I watched the 2 games. Mate, Melbourne City can pick the trophy up to.
I think they can. They can.
You know, I mean, watching the Auckland game. You know,
Oh God, man,
Melbourne Victory never had a shot at goals.
they didn't.
I
saw it.
It was embarrassing. And Auckland played very typical of Auckland. They park the bus. They're sort of like a Mourinho team. They play in the counter attack. They snatch a goal and then say, come and get us. But Melbourne City are flying. They're absolutely flying.
3 goals.
Lots of runners.
But they destroyed Western United. I watched the whole game and I thought, wow. Well, I've been I think I said it a few weeks ago. I tipped them and I think they'll win it. They'll win it comfortably. But they've just hit the straps at the right part of the season about 5 or 6 weeks ago.
No,
and they've just been motoring.
They're no injuries either. They've got no injuries. My God, and that's the thing too.
But they're just so mobile that
they are.
Yet they're transitioning the ball so quick. And they're quick everywhere. They attack the right areas. They're looking at a really good side.
And again, Tony, once again, we talk about a South Australian coaching them. What is this? Is a South Australian tonight? Is a South Australia day tonight? Because that's what it looks like. The way Aurelio Vidmar's got him going is unbelievable. I tell you what.
Well, mate, they've rebuilt very quickly.
They have.
They had to dismantle the team from 3 seasons ago, which was a fantastic team. And they've surprised me how quickly they've turned it around. I've got to be honest.
Fantastic.
They've come real good. I was very impressed watching.
Yeah.
I've been watching them specifically. I think it was actually the Oracle. Roger actually said to me 5 or 6 weeks ago. He said to me, Kenny, they're really good. And I had taken my eye off the ball a little bit. I wasn't really focusing on them, and I started to watch more thlosely, their games, and they're top notch. Yeah,
where will Auckland, if Auckland get into the grand final, where would the grand final be played?
In New Zealand. It's in New Zealand. In New Zealand. In New Zealand.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Minor premiers get to host it if they're in the final. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, they'll fill that ground twice.
Oh, fill it.
They'll get 28, 30.
Yeah.
They might have to go somewhere else. Who knows? But the other thing about that game on Saturday night, Melbourne Victory, I couldn't believe it. How many players they had back? How many players Auckland had back? As soon as they scored 1 goal, that was it. Bang, pack it up. Just put them at the back. Play them at the back. And you know what?
Explain to me. I'm still scratching my head. I don't know how. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm missing something. But Daniel Arzani, and I'm not a massive fan of him. He's a good player. But I've got to say, probably in the last 7 or 8 weeks, he's been probably one of their best players. Every time they go a goal down, they take him off.
It's funny, isn't it?
And they bring a striker on, and he's the one that you're expecting to get the balls down, get the crosses down, because he goes wide and he takes people on, he clips balls down.
Mm-hmm.
They go one down and take him off.
Can I just take you back?
Wouldn't you have gone 3 at the back and brought Fornaroli on and kept us down?
Oh my God, Fornaroli came on too. He came on too late. Fornaroli came too late.
They were only. Auckland were only playing with really 1 up, right? They were playing sort of 4-5-1, right? So wouldn't you just go on 3 at the back, Fornaroli on in the box, and go? But they keep taking them off.
I know.
Beyond me, maybe somebody who's listening tonight can enlighten me why they keep doing it.
And let me.
The week before, he provided 2 decent assists. I think he scored himself. Yeah.
Honestly,
weird.
that
very weird.
Did you guys see at the end when they had the break? The guy had the whole thing at the break. He broke away from because everybody was forward, of course. And then this guy come forward. He hit the post. You saw it, didn't you? Hit the post. It went to the net. It hit the other post across and went straight to the goalkeeper. Was there something going on here, or is it because the posts are too rounded or something, Kenny? Because the old posts were square, weren't they?
Mate, don't stop me on that.
There you go. You've done it.
It never crossed the line, mate. And did you see? Just quickly going off at a tangent. Did you see the FA Cup final?
Kenny,
I never thought. I never sort of had a real good look at it, but I saw it today when the goalkeeper put his hand outside the box. His body was inside the box, but his hand wasn't when Harlan was going through. How can VAR miss that?
Okay.
Honestly,
cares?
We're talking to a guy here. He's got the colours and everything with him. You think he's going to say anything about it?
There's no one happier. No one happier than me that we're spreading the cups around and Palace have won it.
Oh, it's the best thing that happened.
Yeah.
But
in the spirit of the game, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but the reality was, you know, that two things could have happened. I think it would only have been a yellow card because it was a handball outside the box, right? So it's not a standing off offence. And I certainly thought the penalty was soft. The boy went to ground a bit naively, but certainly the Man City player just dived over him, you know?
Henderson was unbelievable in goals.
Oh, he was.
He was a freak that day, yeah.
But you know, but it could have changed. It could have all changed, you know, but with that one decision.
Of course, yeah.
But you just wonder what VAR are looking at.
Even in the A-League, sometimes you wonder what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Mate, forget about the VAR. Let me just say the games. This is what's happening this week to everyone. If you've got, but I'm sure it's going to be Saturday, so the games will be free, of course, on Bold, of course, and that's the A-League finals, of course. Now this week's, listen to this one. Listen to when the games are playing. Auckland are playing Melbourne Victory at 4 p.m. Saturday. And straight after that, we're talking here about the return game between Melbourne City and Western United straight after. So there you go. I mean, that's going to be like
difference in New Zealand.
A whole different ball game playing the two finals on the same day. So there you go. I can imagine what's going to be happening.
I know what I'm doing Saturday.
What are you going to be doing?
I know what I'm doing Saturday.
Be all day watching these two games. All these games, my God, mate. But so the thing about this is that Auckland are playing at the Go Media Stadium in Auckland. So that place, I reckon, will be about 30,000 packed ground. It's only a small ground.
They'll get a full house next week.
And they will get a full house.
I think they'd be feeling very confident after winning 1-0 away from home. I don't recollect anyone going there, especially when they've got a goal start and we beat them.
They can park the bus. They can park the bus again and they won't score again. That's it. Done.
I mean, you watch them play, and you know they're a really good unit, but there's nothing flash about them, really, is there?
They play together.
Whereas you watch like someone like Melbourne City, and they've got players that can change a game. But with them, they're just a really good unit, and
hard working, all over the park.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the thing, guys. If you're going to watch the games, watch them again. You know, watch them. Of course, the whole Saturday of the whole game. You might be that tired to be going straight to bed. Whatever it's going to happen. But what I want to talk about is before we finish tonight, we've got a few minutes. So we're talking about the game on Thursday morning. A bit of surprise, I hear, Kenny. Did you hear the surprise with Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham playing Manchester United, the wounded, let's call them the wounded Manchester United, of course, apparently, and they're playing in Bilbao, and apparently they're saying that the Tottenham supporters are going to outrun the Manchester United supporters. We hope to see that, you know.
I mean, I'm not quite sure how the ticket allocation goes now because they're really strict on it. I wouldn't imagine there'd be more Tottenham fans than Man United fans. I'd be very surprised because what you get is you get all the Spanish Man United fans coming there who can get local tickets.
Oh my God!
Because of the worldwide brand, right? I mean,
oh my God.
You'll get them. They'll get them from Portugal coming across the border. You'll get, so Man United. I would suggest to you, we'll have a far bigger contingent of support in the stadium than Spurs. Now, Ange wins it. He probably keeps his job. He loses. I'd be surprised if he's there next year. I'd be surprised.
And as I said last week to everyone online, of course, the two most lowest ranked teams in the whole of Europe on the ladder, was it 16 and 17? I can't believe that, Kenny. And Tony, how can you have the team? I mean, you had, of course, playing in the FA Cup. You had Manchester City, yes, okay, but these two teams, these two I mean, people are looking at it, and some of the people are saying, really? Do we have to watch this competition? Do we have to watch it? A lot of people are actually criticising it.
You know the big issue? The 16th and 17th, they are so lucky that Southampton left and Ipswich were so poor. Or both of them would have been in a relegation battle this week and next week.
Unbelievable.
37, 38 points didn't guarantee you to stay in the league, normally. But the three teams below them were so poor, it was... But that's unusual. Normally they're 31, 32, getting relegated, 33. Normally 35, 36 just gets you safe. Well, they're just safe.
Yeah,
mate. In a good season, both of them would have been in deep trouble.
Well,
deep trouble.
Imagine if they were the last two teams and they're playing a European final. What would that look like? People wouldn't go. Would they go? Would they go?
Well, whoever wins it gets into the Champions League, right?
That's funny. And guess who's complained about that one? Guess who complained about that one? Of course, the Frenchman that used to coach, of course, what's his name? Coach Arsenal. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. He actually says, you know what he said? He said they don't deserve to be there in the if one of them was the champions. That's what he said. He said they don't deserve to be there.
But the football's changed, Harry. We've got 99 million teams playing in the World Cup now. They don't deserve to be in the World Cup.
No, they don't.
We've just turned it into a circus. We're playing in 3 different countries. We're playing. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters. We've taken away the best of, and we're saying, look, just come along for the ride. You're going to get smashed when you get there, but we'll have you in it, because it looks good. We'll get 36, 48 teams, whatever it is.
Good.
And so you lose that elite football, and that's happening everywhere. But Man United, certainly for a club of their stature, the problem they've got is they've got to try and sell the majority of their players to be able to buy. Who's going to buy any of their players? Actually,
the difference, Kenny, between Ten Hag and Amorim, what's the difference? What was the difference changing Ten Hag?
He's pretty much been hamstrung because he's inherited that squad and can't buy anyone. The great thing about this financial fair play is what it has done is it's meant the majority of the teams who haven't beaten the system have got to work within a financial structure. It means if we want to bring somebody in, we've got to sell him. So it's a bit like Monopoly. You've actually got to be really good at business and move players to bring players in. You might have to sell 2 to bring one good one in.
That's right.
Dealing in shares.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The thing is,
it's turned into I'm surprised no one's done a board game yet about it.
Yeah.
I really am.
Football manager.
Yeah. Actually, we'll talk off air, Tony. Me and you, we might copyright that and try it.
I tell you what,
I think they've already got a game called out, though.
so now, right now, if any players said where would they go, what club would they go to England, they probably wouldn't say Manchester United anymore. They wouldn't say Manchester United anymore. I can guarantee you that. Yeah, the problem is, look, Man United's obviously got the brand, right? If they make the Champions League, they'll a lot of players want to play in the Champions League, right? But the problem they've got to build a brand new stadium, and on top of that, they've got to spend at least 300 million, at least. Oh boy! And 300 million might just make them competitive. It might. But the reality is that you're right, Harry. Who with that squad of players wants to go there? Turn up there now. I mean, and that's what I want to say. And of course, this guy is it Ratcliffe, who owns a club now. I mean, what did he do a few weeks ago? He said you can't have any more free meals. What is this? Remember the free meals? Kenny, what's going on here? Free meals. Yeah, I think that sort of got blown out of proportion a little bit. But what they've done is they've unfortunately the staff, it blew out all proportion, and they've had to lay staff off but really, I mean, hand on heart, he's come up and said, look, we're struggling. We had to cut. But you think if
if these people who are working at Man United, the bread and butter people, and the players heard about it, you would think they'd throw some money into the kitty when you're earning £250,000, £300,000 a week. You think, 15 or 20 of them would get together and say, look, there's 10 grand, keep these people on. You would think so.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that's what the old school player would have done. They wouldn't have let that happen. The old Man United, the Roy Keanes and the Beckhams wouldn't have let that happen. They'd have got together and said, "Good guys, we'll create a fund. We don't want these people to go. They're
club culture."
Yeah.
The one we're going to finish up shortly, guys. But what I'm going to say right now to everyone online right now is, please get out to your clubs. Get out to your clubs. I don't care how cold it is. Fair weather people, who cares? Get out there, support your club. They're all struggling in Victoria. Sponsors aren't paying the money they used to pay because, of course, the things that are happening in Victoria. But please get out to your clubs. Let's see at least 1,000 people at some of the games so they can recoup some money this weekend. So, boys, thank you for joining me tonight, everybody. Thank you. Kenny, you can't believe it, mate. We're on time. We're on time tonight, Kenny.
Mate, I don't even have to get my chops out of the oven yet.
Oh my God, guys. Thanks for joining us, guys, for Football List tonight. Next week, we're going to have somebody again. Thank you, Tony, for coming on. Finally seeing you back again. Thanks, guys, tonight on Football List. Let's see you guys next week, next Monday. And let's talk about the community game as well next week, guys. Thank you for joining me on Football List, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Here we go. Hi. Hop, hop. Check it out. I'm in stereo again. Left and right stereo. There you go. Hup, feel it. Good night, guys. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, get out to your clubs this week. They need your help. Everybody does. Get out there. Hey. Hup. The cup of life. This is the one. Now is the time. Don't ever stop. We should've known. Gotta be strong. We should've known right from the top. And when you feel the heat. Good night, guys. Thank you for joining me. Of course, don't forget, get out to your clubs. I keep pushing you. A special announcement next Monday. You'll hear it then. Thank you, guys, for joining me. Here we go, everybody. Thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Up.